if we switch sides of the ball for the Browns, now Browns offense has looked better without Jameis Winston. There's no argument with that. Two of them have been pretty high level, high yardage. Chargers not quite as good with the 3 turnovers. Steelers head coach Mike Tomlin on what he's seen from the Browns wide receiving core.
They got a deep receiving core, and I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Moore in the slot as well. They got plenty of talent. They just elevated Tony that they picked up from Kansas City early in the year. He'd been on their practice squad. They activated him last week, and he played in some Packers football for them. And so they probably moved on from Cooper because of the depth at the position that they had and the evolution of young guys. Again, as you mentioned, Judy is not new to the NFL, but he's new to them and has gotten comfortable. He's coming off a really big game. Tillman is a second-year player, and he's taking the step that you see most second-year players take. No questioning his talent. We did a lot of work on him when he came out of Tennessee, and he's a big, strong guy. He carries the run game fight. He's capable of making combat catches, and so I don't think that any of us are surprised by the uptick in his production as well.
So, Dalton, my question to you is this with the Browns wide receiving core. We'll get to Judy in a minute. It seems to me like they still lack a number one. The guy, you get the ball in his hands and defenses go, man, what are we going to do? Even George Pickens is that kind of guy. And I like Judy, I like Tillman. I don't see that guy on this roster right now. Am I missing something?
No, I agree with you. I think you have several guys that you can like, but nobody that you love is that number one option, right? Like Amari Cooper was the last couple of years, or like so many teams have around the league. And it's going to be a discussion come draft time is, do they draft a number one receiver? Is that an option? Do that? You mentioned the quarterback situation before, but this team may not even be well positioned enough with their roster to take a young quarterback and start him on day one, in part because of this. They don't have a number one receiver, and we've talked before about their offensive line issues. I think there's some guys playing well right now because Jameis Winston has unlocked a little bit of a downfield element that Deshaun Watson wasn't, because he was just so almost afraid to throw the football down the field. Jameis isn't afraid of any throw. So these guys are allowed to produce a little bit more than they were with Watson. But you're right. You don't see a number one guy here. I could see Judy being a 2 and Moore and Tillman kind of acting as that co-3 and 4 kind of guy. But they do need a number one guy, and I would expect that to be something they look at in this draft.